Hello and welcome to WSD Voice, a podcast focused on positive and informative news in Waterford School District. I am your host, Sarah Davis, the Director of Communications and Community Relations, and I'm here with my co-host, Waterford School District Superintendent Adam Martin. Today we are going to be talking about an opportunity for our students that is part of our career and technical education programming called Early Childhood Education. And this program features a tremendous work-based learning opportunity for students who are interested in careers in education. Here to discuss this important program on WSD Voice today is Lauren Potterfield, Family and Consumer Sciences teacher at Kettering High School, but also coordinator of WSD's Early Childhood Education program.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Yes, we're happy to have you here, as well as Tony Miller, who has many titles. We have marketing teacher and DECA advisor at Kettering, but then also work-based learning coordinator and career and technical and career and focused education coordinator for the district.
Yeah, that's a few of them. Thanks for having us.
So thanks for being on the show, both of you. Let's dive right in. Adam, I think you're starting the questions off.
I am. So, Lauren, could you help us out with the Early Childhood Education Program, or the ECE program? Could you talk to us a little bit about the overall goal of the program and then how it helps students prepare for a career in education or a career in any child's industry?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. And Tony, jump in if I forget anything, because what I want to start with is that this is created by the state. Originally to help fill those gaps in teacher shortfalls that we are still experiencing, particularly in early childhood education. For us, that is the preschool level and early elementary. So that is what it was created for. We do prepare kids for careers in teaching, but as I think we'll discuss, is also very valuable for a whole bunch of other reasons as well.
Okay. And Tony, while we're concentrating on the ECE program specifically today, I know there's a lot of career and technical programs, career-focused programs that we oversee in the district. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit and what we have here?
Yeah, so the Early Childhood program is the 8th of our CTE programs. This is our newest one. So we have CTE programs in computer programming, computer networking, web design, marketing, business, finance, and family consumer science. So we've had 7 for a while. Early Childhood is going to be our newest one, our 8th state-approved CTE program here in Waterford.
Okay, wonderful. And you're head of marketing. You were just telling us about a fun holiday craft that you have, or more than a craft, but program that you have going on over there. So a lot of really good opportunities through our students. That one's through the school store. So
Absolutely.
They get to engage with that.
Yep.
So,
Getting back specifically to the ECE program, Lauren, could you talk to us about the kids that are attracted to that program, and then through the curriculum, what experiences they get to have?
So I definitely want to get the kids who are interested in education. This is their opportunity to try that out, get a feel for it, get to really do some teaching in a classroom environment, some real hands-on stuff. But I also really just want any kid that has an interest in taking this class. And that's how I sell it, because I talk about all the fun that we're going to have, that we get to leave campus 3 times a week, that we do fun things in the classroom, you get to work with the kids in the preschool, and we have an elementary version as well now. I really just want any kid who has an interest. Along with that, I am looking for the most diverse population of kids that I can bring into this program. So it's not just like I am looking for gender diversity, because I think with teaching, and especially when you're talking about preschool, the prevailing view is that, oh, that's not a career for boys. But I have to tell you, those preschoolers love having boys in the classroom. You know, when you think about it, they, generally speaking, their primary caregiver is a woman. Their teachers are women, females. So the boys can give a little bit of that balance to that situation. And the boys in our program, they love it. They do quite well. So I'm looking for that. But I am also looking for cultural diversity. I am looking for people with multiple languages who are interested. I am looking for different socioeconomic backgrounds in my students. I am looking for different abilities. This class is supposed to be an 11th and 12th grade course. I do take 10th graders, especially if they have a real interest in doing this. It does require that these kids have a high level of personal responsibility, and they show that. You know, we teach them what the expectations are, but they really do show that they can step up to the plate. They can problem solve. They can be self-motivating. They can take initiative. And so I'm looking for kids who can handle that. Otherwise, it is basically open to any kid just who is interested in it. And the last thing I'll say about that, because I think you guys experienced that today when you were talking to some of the kids, I know that if I get them in and let them experience what the rewards of teaching are and the responsibilities and the day-to-day tasks, there are a lot of kids who will say, you know what, I didn't really think about this as a career, but I am now. So that's fabulous too.
Yeah, and I think an example of that today was with Javon, who said he's going into architecture, but here he was, again, a male at the preschool level, and he was talking about how much he enjoyed that, and that's probably an experience he wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, and I recruited him. I do recruit a lot of kids because I can tell that they have the kind of, you know, teacher soul. A lot of them I know from other courses that I teach. I can see how they're working with other kids and how they're patient and how they will teach and not just show or do. And he was one of those kids that I felt like had that ability, and I think he's discovering it too, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we'll hear from him later. But once you get them in the program, once they give you that yes, what are some of the things that they do while they're in there?
So their least favorite part is the first 2 months of the year. We are in my classroom in Kettering.
Okay.
They are learning the things they are going to need to know to put into practice on site. Besides, like, I teach them things like how to do a read aloud to preschoolers. And of course, we modify all this for those kids who are going into the elementary. But what they really, really don't like is that we do about a dozen online trainings. They do health and safety, bloodborne pathogens, confidentiality, seclusion and restraint, all kind of milestones, all kind of actual trainings that are on platforms that our district teachers engage in these same trainings. So they are legitimately training like a district teacher would. They get to keep credit for that as well. We do first aid CPR, so they can handle emergency situations, which do come up sometimes. What else? That's I think their least fun. Although I will tell you that once we get to site, they realize, oh my gosh, I'm really drawing from this and pulling from this all the time. We're just learning about how to read stories. And after we did this lesson, I had a couple of kids come and say, oh my gosh, Mrs. Potterfield, I read a story today. And the kids were all asking questions and they were engaged. And it's just like you said. Like, yeah, it was. So you could see them really applying that stuff as well.
Right, and you would maybe think, reading a story, why do I need to learn how to do this? I can read a story. But then once you get into the classroom, you see how it could be different when you're doing it that way.
Yeah, and they can see what, I actually think that helps them understand what their teachers are doing in the classroom, that everything we do has a purpose, and we might be playing, but it's play with a point, So I do see them making those connections too, like, oh, I see. A story extension is like another reinforcement for teaching what the book is learning. And so it does help them make that connection as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Lauren. Before we get into what else our students learn from the ECE program, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Waterford School District Superintendent Adam Martin here. The Waterford Pool and Fitness Center is your recreation and health community center. We offer a welcoming, supportive environment for people who are interested in recreation, fitness, and enjoyment. We have both land and water classes for all levels and offer annual and 3-month memberships. Find out more about our Pool and Fitness Center programming on our website at wsdmi.org. That's wsdmi.org.
Okay, and we are back to our WSD Voice podcast talking with Lauren Potterfield and Tony Miller about our district's prestigious ECE program. We left off with Lauren telling us about the two schools our students can learn at, Knudsen and Stepanski. Adam, what's our next question?
Next question. So students are dropped into our schools for that hands-on learning experience. What other things are they learning from that?
What things are they learning there?
Yeah.
Okay, so this program is amazing because every student gets a placement. This year we have 3 at Knudsen, and I think we have 18 at Stepanski. They are assigned a classroom, and we make those placements carefully based on the student's level in the class, what their needs are, etc. They stay with that placement the entire year. So their mentor kind of guides them on what they actually, each kid has specific things they are trying to learn. So they're getting that direct, about education, those kind of skills. But professionalism is a big thing they are learning. You cannot be late to this class because guess what? The bus will leave you. And then it's a problem because where are you going to be for 2 hours? There's no place for you to go. You can sit in the office. You can help the attendance lady. You can, so there's real consequences for not. Nobody gets those. They do their job. But, being on time. If they are absent, they are required to email me and their mentor teacher in a certain way before a certain time. They have to come dressed appropriately according to guidelines. And I feel like even if they don't go into teaching, you are going to use those skills anywhere you go. And for adults, those seem like no-brainers. Well, yeah, I got to go there, and I got to be on time, and I have to stay focused on what I'm doing. But for teenagers, this is something they are learning, and so they really show me that they can handle those tasks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate that they're getting the opportunity to learn from a mentor teacher and establish some of their own soft skills, air quote, a little bit, of things that are going to pay them forward in wherever they end up next. Can you talk to us a little bit more about some of the curriculum standards of things that you teach or guarantee that they have proficiency on in the coursework?
Yeah, that's a great question too, because in this program, besides getting a lot of small certifications through those trainings, through first aid, CPR, every student in the program is working towards one of 2 certifications. Most of them are working towards a Child Development Associate, which is a real certification. It is industry-based. It is nationally recognized. This is what you need in order to work in a preschool classroom. It's the first step. So we're working towards that. We do 120 classroom hours towards that. They're building a portfolio. They also have to do 480 hands-on hours in the community in a preschool setting. And the elementary kids, they are working on something called, it's a YDA Youth Development Associate Certificate, which prepares them to lead out of school time activities. So there's no elementary certification per se, but this sets them up to continue education in that field if that's the direction they want to go. Theirs is a little different. They still need that 120 hours, but I think they need fewer hours. I think they need 140 hours in the community to be available for that. Now, we haven't had anybody actually earn them on my watch, but I do have a lot of kids who have gone out into the community. They're working at Stepanski now. They're working in daycares, and they are and have earned them since. So it's at least the foundation.
You mentioned community a couple times in that last question. The students are in the classroom. They get to go to the different schools, to Stepanski and Knudsen, but how else are they engaging in the community?
So this is what is really great about this, I think. I will tell you that recently, you met her, Sophia, today.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
had told me recently she works at a daycare after school, as many of my students do. And she had said, Ms. Potterfield, I think we're taking over the early child care scene in Waterford because everywhere you go, it's just filled with your students or former students from this class. And I'm like, that is amazing because they get hired for these jobs because people know they're trained. They have the certifications and trainings. They've been with me. They've had hands-on experience. So we have that. But also, many of them will volunteer for after-school events at the various sites or Saturday or whatever, extra family kind of things. So the community sees them there. They all have a bright blue sweatshirt this year. And people start to recognize that that's what that signifies, that they're part of the program.
I saw them and I really liked them.
They cute.
Yeah.
They designed those themselves. Yeah,
Very nice.
They're very proud of it.
Yeah.
They'll also tell me stories of how I was at Burger King and I saw one of my students and his family and he ran up and gave me a big hug and then I talked to his parents and so they're engaging in a very positive way in many different venues around the community, which I think just is such a wonderful shining example of what Waterford has to offer kids in this district.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks, Lauren. Now that we know some of the background of the program, we're going to hear from those students that we've talked about. Earlier today, Adam and I, Lauren, you were there too, visited with WSD students Casidee Davis and Javon Cole, who they both assist at Stepanski Early Childhood Center. Then we headed over to a first grade classroom at Knudsen and spoke with Sophia Holmquist. Like I mentioned, Superintendent Martin had the opportunity to interview these students and learn all about their experiences in the ECE program. So let's listen to what they had to say.
Hi, I'm here at Stepanski with Javon and Casidee, and they're going to help talk us through some of the incredible things they're doing as student interns here at Stepanski. So guys, you ready for some questions? All right, so question number one, of the things that you guys have studied to help prepare you for here, what was the most challenging and what was the most rewarding that you guys have been able to put into practice?
So it'd probably be like the stages of play, because we always think that we know how to play, but we have to learn how to play together. So that's what I think is most challenging to learn in theory.
Javon, can you talk us through, is there a specific training that you got at some point that you've been able to apply where it was a direct one-to-one from the classroom to working with the students here?
I think the most one-to-one is to do a bunch of steps on how to deal with the conflict. Basically just teaches them in a way that educates them more rather than just trying to solve the conflicts we put under the rug. I have had some conflicts in my classroom, nothing too intense, but they were able to get solved and they have been happening much less now.
How has this experience impacted what you guys are thinking in terms of your future goals? Cassie, we'll start with you and then head over to Javon.
I was originally thinking about being a marine biologist, but this has really opened up my horizon of careers, so I might become a teacher instead.
Okay.
Same here. I am planning to be an architect, but this is honestly really good for experience if, that doesn't work out. But it does just give me more opportunities and more variety for my future.
What is your favorite part about being here at Stepanski, and how does it compare to the classroom learning at your high school when you were learning in the classroom?
My favorite part is definitely just being able to help the kids get through their day, especially comparing it to when I was around their age. All I had was a singular teacher, but it's probably much more helpful just knowing that I'm helping the teacher out and helping these kids out. And compared to the learning at Kettering, that's very different, much more hands-on stuff and real, I guess. I'm actually just here and being able to work with the kids.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be working with the kids, because at Kettering we're just on our Chromebooks and we're still learning stuff, but here we get hands-on experience.
Casidee, going to start with you on this one. What is one specific way that you feel that you've made a positive impact on the classroom here at Stepanski or even just at Stepanski as a whole?
I think I help my teachers with a lot of things, but it's also like helping the kids' moods. Every time I come in, they go like, "Oh my gosh, Casidee!" And they run over to me and give me hugs, and they hug me when I leave. So I think I just help with their mood.
I think it's the same here. I just help them, and I get to be an exciting new part of their day that not many other kids probably get.
So there's probably a freshman somewhere or maybe an underclassman that's watching this podcast thinking about, hey, that sounds pretty cool. What would you guys say to them about the experience to help encourage them to either join in or what they'll learn from it? And this will kind of be the end here.
Just take the chance. Don't miss an opportunity just because you're like, I'm not too sure. Because if you don't take the chance, you'll never know if you like it.
All right, I lied. I have one more. When the program ends, what's the biggest thing you're going to miss about it?
Probably the kids.
Yes.
I would have to say the kids and my friends in this class. That'll be like my biggest thing.
Well, Casidee and Javon, thank you guys so much for sharing a little bit with us and for your work with our students. It's incredible work that you guys are doing, and we're looking forward to seeing how this helps you at the next step. Thank you so much. All right, I'm over here at Knudsen with Sophia, one of our ECE interns, and looking forward to hearing from you about your incredible experience here. So let's just get us going. So talk to me about how this experience has impacted kind of what's next. I know you're a senior at Kettering and probably thinking about, okay, in June here, after I graduate, what I want to do. So how has this experience impacted your future goals?
Every day I look forward to coming here, and I think about the kids every time I wake up, and it makes me so excited, and I know that's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
So you're thinking about being an elementary teacher?
Definitely.
Okay. Upper L, lower L, or does it not matter?
I've really enjoyed lower elementary. I've worked with first grade for 2 years now, and I just think it fits.
What is the one thing that you would say, maybe others would say, whether that's students or teachers, that you've been able to positively impact here at Knudsen?
So last year was our first year at Knudsen with my program, and I've noticed more teachers have wanted more of our interns, and I think we play a really positive role on all the students, helping them extra one-on-one help that kids might not be able to get because of the big classroom. And yeah.
So you've been at this for a year and a half, working in classrooms with students that aren't yours and working with different teachers. What is the one skill, the professional skill that you've learned the most or that has been developed the most in this that you're going to be able to take with you going forward once you're done with Waterford Schools?
First-hand, hands-on experience, really. No other class has been able to teach me as much as I learned here. I've been able to go through 2 classrooms and learning the different student teaching and how to other students' learning abilities are very different. I've been able to apply that and learn so many different kinds of teaching skills and learning from multiple teachers. I've been able to apply that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. A classroom of 25 students with 25 different personalities and 25 different ways to learn in their needs, right? It's incredible work. Talk to us about the opportunity that you had, the positive piece that you had that you would not have been able to have if you weren't an intern here with the ECE program. What is that one thing that you're taking away with you?
Definitely just the experience overall. I'm in a classroom. I'm working with real children, real issues, real learnings. Also, this class has presented to me scholarships and opportunities to go out and talk in front of people and get that confidence that I would not have without this class.
So as you're closing down your high school career here, you mentioned scholarships. Talk to me a little bit about how this program has helped with scholarships, and I'm sure you're probably starting to apply or already applied for colleges. How has this experience directly impacted those things?
I've worked with 2 teachers, and they give me a lot of their just opinions on where to go and how to go about it the best way, what they would do that's different. And learning from what they've done has helped me a lot. Letters of recommendation, I've been able to reach out to my past teacher, and she's helped me with that. Scholarships, the Golden Apple Scholarship is a big one throughout teaching, and I've been able to apply to get that one, and yeah.
So for underclassmen or maybe middle schoolers that are considering, hey, what is something that I might want to do in high school? What's an experience that's there that would be unique? What could you tell them about this experience to help provide some guidance, support, maybe some encouragement in terms of what this is?
Definitely be brave. When I came in as a junior, I just found out about this program, and we came to elementaries for the first year. I was nervous because there was only 3 of us who were going, and I just wanted to get that real experience I wanted to do in the future. I knew I didn't really want to do preschool. I knew I wanted to be in elementary, and so I was brave, and I came out here, and I'm very proud of this whole experience.
So it has had a pretty profound impact on you, you would say? All right, so talk to me as the last question here. What is the thing you are going to miss most about this program when it closes down and when you're all done?
I'm going to miss the students the most. Even last year, saying bye to my last first grade class was one of the saddest moments I've ever had. I got to see them in their second grade classroom because one of the students requested to see me because it was super hard saying goodbye. But I think that's the number one hardest thing about teaching is seeing your kids grow up, which is an amazing thing, but it's hard to see them grow up as well.
Well, Sophia, I just want to say thank you. If it hurts saying goodbye, that means you've done it the right way. Appreciate you sharing with us about this. Anything else you'd like to add on?
I love this experience, and this program is truly amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you to all 3 of our students for sharing their experiences. Tony, how is this program funded?
Well, there's a pretty complex formula, but as you heard, all of those certifications that we're offering, the bus transportation to and from, CTE programs can get pretty expensive. So there is a state formula that involves kind of the number of enrollees in your program, the number of students that complete your program, how high demand that job is, and what the outlook looks like, and the average salary. So there's a formula that kind of gets redone every few years from the state. So all of our CTE programs get funded based on that formula, how many students are in our CTE programs, and how many students get through our CTE programs.
Okay.
And then we obviously are able to use that money for student organizations, BPA, DECA, transportation, field trips, buy those fun things, those babies for the classrooms that the kids take home on the weekend. So we can use all that money to help support our CTE programs.
Okay.
Tony, thanks for sharing some of that. Lauren, what are some impacts the CTE funding has on the ECE program? And then Tony, are there other impacts that the funding has on some of our other programs?
For us, we couldn't do the program without it, really. Because even from those sweatshirts, those aren't free. We do provide one sweatshirt for every kid so that they can go and be a part of the group. We have transportation to and from Kettering to the sites each day. We don't want kids driving because some kids don't have cars. We want them all to be able to go. We also, I think the biggest expenses for us are when we leave campus altogether. We do take field trips. I take them to one conference every year. We are probably going to go back to Educators Rising again this year. Actually, the kids can compete at that one, and they're looking forward to doing it this year. That's at Wayne State, and it is for students across the state in this program. That's real fun. I took them to my AC once. That was in Grand Rapids? That was a real big one we took 2 years ago. I also will take them to different universities and colleges so they can see the programs at those colleges. And for a lot of kids, it's like the first time they've ever been on a college campus. So they get to see the facilities and learn about the program and talk to the students and the professors there. That's probably our big. What else do you think we spend?
Well, with the for example, with BPA and DECA, they get to compete at their district, state, and hopefully national conferences. As Lauren mentioned, transportation is a really big expense. So having that extra funding for transportation to get us to those conferences, whether it be, Oakland University is hosting a conference coming up here soon for DECA. Our state conference is in Detroit. There's often a conference in Grand Rapids. Ideally, we'll have kids that will qualify for nationals, and we'll be traveling out of state with them. Just purchasing equipment, materials. We can even use some of that CTE money to help support the teachers and send the teachers to their professional conferences. So ideally, all our CTE teachers are attending a conference every other year at the very least for their professional area.
I want to add, too, it's not just the funding that makes a huge impact on these programs. It's the support that we get from just district-wide. From doing this, all the way down to the mentor teachers at my sites. Like, we cannot do this without their support. The way they work with these kids is amazing. The principals at both sites, at Knudsen, and Stepanski, Miss Bratton, and then Mr. Gregory, they are big supporters of this program because they're getting to see firsthand the impact that it does have on the kids. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw in that it's not just all about the money. It's like everybody has a stake in this.
Sure. So this isn't the first, these 3 students that we talked to today, they're not the first to go through the program. What are some accomplishments that others have had once they've left? What are some successes that you can kind of tout?
Well, once they leave, they always want to come back. So I do a day in the spring where former students, and I'll invite the ones that have expressed interest, they can come back and they can work with the students that are currently in the program. So they are at a wide variety of colleges and universities studying different things, and they will tell them about their journey. Which I think is actually a big thing, because a lot of kids come into this program thinking like college is not for me, and then they find out that not only is it for me, I could go there. So that's good. Last year we had some award winners. We had one student earn the Golden Apple Scholarship, State of Michigan. I don't know if that was the first year, but it's kind of a new scholarship, and she will get up to $10,000 worth of funding and a lot of training as she journeys to be a teacher. And then I had 2 students get accepted to the Next Gen Ed summer camp that is at Wayne State that also is like a teacher prep as well. So they're making a splash.
Okay. And we heard Sophia mention the Golden Apple and how she's just applied for that and is eagerly
I have 3,
awaiting.
yes.
Oh, you have 3 of them? Okay.
That are applying for that this year. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Right. Yep.
Because it does make a difference. Like the one that earned it last year, she really needed that funding in order to go to college.
Yeah.
Like she had part of it. She was an athlete. She was a hard worker, good grades, but just that little extra boost plus the support, and they're guaranteed a job, and so
Okay.
huge.
Lauren and Tony, what does the future of this program look like going forward? Tony, is that more you?
I'm sure Lauren has a vision. I'm hoping that we can expand it to all the elementary schools. As Lauren mentioned, it takes a lot of commitment from the principals and the teachers, right? But now that we've opened it up into a couple elementary schools, ideally we'll be able to open that up into more elementary schools. Hopefully, Mr. Gregory's having a good experience with it, and then he can share that with some other principals. Maybe we'll expand that out. I know a lot of the kids that have been in the program and other CTE programs are now working at the schools in other positions like noon aides and things like that. I have a lot of work-based learning students who are working as noon aides, and the kids really love them. I get calls from the principals at the beginning of every school year of, you have co-op students ready to be noon aide this year. So I think getting our kids this experience and those kids showing that they're going to succeed and do well is going to open up the doors a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I would like to expand the sites that we are using, which would allow us to bring more students into the program. We're a little smaller this year, but not for lack of demand. Like, you have to be able to fit it in your schedule, so that's one thing. But last year we had a student from Mott. Next year, I understand there are some students from Mott who are interested as well. So I'd like to bring in more of those, more of our kids, just as many kids that can have the experience, bring them in to that as well.
So, Adam, listening to all of this from a district perspective, what does this program bring for Waterford and for these students here?
Well, I think selfishly, it provides a stream of candidates who already have training, right? Who hopefully we can hire and plug in to some of the needs that we have across the district, whether that's noon hours or paraprofessionals or down the road teachers. But I think broadly and more globally, right, our job is to help prepare all of our students to be successful in whatever chair they're in afterward. And I feel really strongly about providing all of our students career experiences, right, ensuring that they have those soft skills. And this program, the ECE program, does that directly. And I know Tony over the other career tech ed programs, the charge is doing that. So really making sure that we are maximizing the time that we have with students, giving them those career experiences, hopefully walking them into what the next chapter would be, and selfishly maybe returning some of our Waterford students to Waterford employees, which has a tremendous impact on the community. Being from the community and in the community and returning to the community, there's a dedication, devotion that can't be, you can't put your a value on it. So I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to watching the program grow, and then some of our other programs, Tony, like how do we keep building and use this as a model for that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Lauren and Tony, for being here today. And thank you to our 3 students, Casidee, Javon, and Sophia, who let us visit them in the classroom. It was really great to see them out, see them with the students, hear the things they had to say. That's really important for us to show their piece in all of this, too. So thank you for setting all of that up, Lauren.
Thank you. It was our pleasure. They were excited and nervous.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
They did great.
They were fantastic, and I appreciated that they were able to tangibly talk about the impact that the experience has had on them as humans. Not necessarily on the student side, but just, hey, I'm better for this experience. So, awesome stuff.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Waterford School District's Department of School and Community Services and is produced by Video Production Coordinator Jane Kelly. I am the host of this podcast, Sarah Davis, and you can find all episodes of WSD Voice on our website at wsdmi.org or any Waterford Community cable channel. We also invite you to subscribe to the podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and if you want to watch the recording, on our WSD YouTube channel. We so appreciate you listening today and encourage you to tune in to future episodes of WSD Voice as we discuss topics geared toward inspiring, educating, and empowering our students, staff, alumni, and community to thrive.